Hello, sports fans. It is Monday, October the 13th, the year 2014. And as always, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Great to be back with you guys. Hope you guys had a nice weekend. Happy Columbus Day to you. Hope you caught some of the games over the weekend. Let's recap what went on the last few days in the sports world. Let's start in the NFL. Let's go down to Tampa Bay, where the Baltimore Ravens just plastered the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 48-17. Baltimore up to 4-2. Tampa Bay down to 1-5. This was just a demolition. This game was over early. I mean, Baltimore just destroyed Tampa Bay in this game. Flacco was on absolute fire. I mean, Baltimore did a nice job rebounding in this game after the tough loss to Indianapolis last week, and Tampa Bay fell flat on their face. Tampa Bay was playing a little better the last couple weeks. They beat Pittsburgh. They took New Orleans to overtime, but they were dreadful yesterday. And I have to mention this. In the third quarter yesterday, Baltimore is up 38-3. Tampa Bay scores a touchdown. Evans scores a touchdown for Tampa Bay to make it 38-10. What does Evans do? He starts dancing in the end zone. I mean, are you kidding me? You're down 38-10 in the third quarter in a game where you're just getting blown out, and you're doing the jitterbug in the end zone? I mean, come on, give us a break. I know Evans is a nice player. He's got some ability, but give us a break. Down 38-10, and you're doing a dance in the end zone? I mean, I just don't get it. So anyway, Baltimore just blows out Tampa Bay. Let's move on. Let's go to the Meadowlands in New Jersey, not too far from here, where the Denver Broncos beat the New York Jets 31-17. Denver up to 4-1. Jets down to 1-5. Denver, for parts of this game, was sleepwalking. I mean, they were sleepwalking early in the game, and the Jets were actually winning at one point. What was it, 7-3? Then Denver, starts to, get their mojo. They go up 24-7, and you're like, Denver's just going to completely blow out the Jets. What does Denver do? They go back to sleep. The Jets cut it to 24-17. Give the Jets credit for rallying. And then Denver gets the interception at the end of the game. They run it back for a touchdown, and they seal the game. They win it 31-17. Overall, I thought Denver was spotty in this game. I thought they were kind of sleepwalking in this game. The Jets did a nice job, especially early in the game, getting some pressure on Manning. They were rattling Manning a little bit. But, I mean, did we ever expect the Jets to win this game? No. And now the Jets have lost 5 in a row. They're 1-5. I mean, to me, I don't think Rex Ryan is going to survive. Who knows about Geno Smith? I don't know where they go with him. Mike Vick is not the answer. The Jets have a big mess on their hands. They don't have a lot of weapons. They don't have a great secondary. I mean, they can do some things on defense with their front, but the Jets just don't have a lot of talent. So Denver gets the win, even though I wasn't overly impressed with them. Let's move on. Let's go to Minnesota, where the Detroit Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings 17-3. Minnesota up to 4-2. Vikings down to 2-4. This is all about the Lions defense. The Lions defense, which I believe leads the league in total defense, was just unbelievable yesterday. They didn't give up anything. They were awesome yesterday. Great job by the Lions defense. Bridgewater was awful for Minnesota. Remember, he was really good a couple weeks ago against Atlanta. Yesterday, he was awful. 3 interceptions. Minnesota couldn't move the ball from here to there. Remember, Detroit won this game despite not having Johnson and Bush. So nice job by Detroit. Getting a road win against a team you're supposed to beat without 2 of your bigger players. The defense really stepped up. Nice job by them. Hey, Minnesota, I mean, Bridgewater was awful yesterday. I think he has some ability. We'll keep an eye on him. Listen, it's going to be a long year for Minnesota. They're not going to do too much. We'll see if Bridgewater develops. I mean, if you're a Minnesota Viking fan, that's what you hope for. Lions get the win here. Let's go to Tennessee, where the Tennessee Titans beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 16-14. Tennessee up to 2-4. Jacksonville down to 0-6. Of course, Locker did not play in this game. This was a very strange ending to this game, by the way. I mean, Jacksonville is down 16-7 for most of this game. Jacksonville cuts it to 16-14. Then Jacksonville gets the onside kick, and they're driving, to potentially win the game. They throw a nice little out pass, and they get out of bounds. They actually could have got more yards there. The Tennessee cornerback fell down, but the Jacksonville receiver didn't realize it. His momentum took him out of bounds. And then it got a little strange for me. Jacksonville kind of played for a 55-yard field goal. There was still time on the clock where you could run another play, maybe get another 10 yards to get out of bounds. Jacksonville decided to kick a 55-yard field goal. I don't like playing for long field goals, especially outside on grass. And what happens? The kick was blocked and Tennessee holds on. So I don't know what Jacksonville was doing at the end of the game. To me, they had time to run at least one more play, get another 10 yards, maybe make it a 45-yard field goal. That's a lot easier than 55. They played for a 55-yard field goal. I didn't agree with that, so Tennessee gets the win. Jacksonville still winless. All right, let's go up to Buffalo, where the New England Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills 37-22. Patriots up to 4-2. Bills down to 3-3. Brady 4 touchdowns. He looks really good the last couple of weeks. The New England offense, which couldn't do anything for a few weeks, now looks like they're on absolute fire. I mean, and then Buffalo, I mean, they're still going with Orton as quarterback. They had 3 turnovers yesterday. I mean, that's not going to get it done. Buffalo's kind of an up-and-down team, and I don't know what you make of Orton being the quarterback. They put Manuel on the bench. You're going with Orton. I don't know how far you can go with Orton. And I'm not saying Manuel's great either. It's kind of a strange situation what's going on here with Buffalo. Buffalo does some nice things on defense. They have some talent. They're kind of up and down. They're kind of a 500 team, 8-8. And to me, you got to get Manuel back in there eventually. You can't have Orton as your quarterback. Hey, New England, listen, they've turned their season around the last couple of weeks. They looked dreadful there against Kansas City a few weeks ago. Didn't look good against Oakland, but the last 2 weeks they smashed Cincinnati and they win up in Buffalo. So nice job by the Patriots. Let's go to Cincinnati, where the Cincinnati Bengals and the Carolina Panthers tie 37-37. Cincinnati goes to 3-1-1. Carolina goes to 3-2-1. Remember, no A.J. Green here. Cincinnati had a lot of injuries. I mean, this was a wild and woolly game. This game was back and forth the whole way. We go to overtime. Both teams kick a field goal in overtime, and then Cincinnati gets all the way down the field at the end of the game, and they have a chip shot 30-yard field goal at the end of overtime to win the game. Miss it wide right, the game ends in a tie. I mean, you got to be sick if you're a Bengal fan. You missed a chip shot field goal to win the game. So that is a terrible tie for Cincinnati. Carolina, hey, you escaped. You probably should have lost this game. You escaped with a tie on the road. So nice job getting out of there with a tie. But Cincinnati, you got to make that chip shot 30-yard field goal. Let's go to Cleveland, the dog pound, where the Cleveland Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 31-10. Cleveland up to 3-2. Pittsburgh down to 3-3. I'll tell you, the beginning of this game was all Pittsburgh, believe it or not. Pittsburgh took a 3-0 lead early in the game. Then they go down the field again. They're setting up for another field goal, go up 6-0. They botched the snap, and that was the end of Pittsburgh for the rest of this game. It was all Cleveland after that. I mean, Cleveland just laid it on Pittsburgh. I mean, Cleveland had not beaten Pittsburgh in a long time, and they just laid it on the Steelers here. This game at one point was just a complete blowout. And what is going on with the Steelers? I mean, they just look atrocious on both sides of the ball. I know they have some injuries on defense, but come on. And what's with their offense? Last week they scored 10 points against Jacksonville. They scored 10 points here against Cleveland. They are an absolute mess, and I'm telling you, they are going to be calling for Mike Tomlin to be fired. Now, the Steelers organization doesn't rush to fire coaches. Tomlin has had 2 500 years in a row. They look like they're headed to a 500 year this year. I don't know what you do with Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator. I mean, he's getting up there. I mean, when is he going to retire? Did it need to change on defense for the coordinator? What do you do with Haley, the offensive coordinator? Things are not clicking there. The Steelers are a complete mess. They are in last place. When's the last time the Steelers were in last place? The Browns are ahead of them. They are in dead last place. The Steelers are a mess. I know they're 3-3 and the season is not over and one game can change things. You can go on a run, but I don't like what I see at all from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Really nice job by the Browns. I told you last week the Browns are much improved. Remember, the Browns are still playing without their best receiver. They're going to get him back at the end of the year. The Browns are turning the corner. And by the way, Hoyer is a good quarterback. I know everyone's into Manziel. Forget Manziel. Manziel's not going to play this year. Hoyer is your guy. Unless Hoyer gets hurt again like he did last year, it's his job. I mean, Manziel is not getting in there. Hoyer is the quarterback. He does a nice job. Cleveland is starting to put together a decent team. Nice job by the Cleveland Browns yesterday. Let's go down to Miami, where the Green Bay Packers beat the Miami Dolphins 27-24. Green Bay up to 4-2. Miami down to 2-3. Green Bay's up 17-10 in the third. Miami rallies to make it 24-17. Then Green Bay cuts it to 24-20. And then Green Bay scores with 3 seconds left in the game to steal the win. They also had a big 4th down conversion on that drive. So Green Bay just broke the Dolphins' hearts yesterday. Nice job by Aaron Rodgers leading that last drive. Green Bay is now hot. They've won a few games in a row here. They're starting to play much better football. Miami, hey, this was a heartbreaking loss. They competed hard. This was a really bitter pill to swallow. And by the way, I've mentioned this a couple times. What's with the Dolphin fans down there? Did you see all the empty seats at the stadium? I mean, the Dolphins are playing Green Bay, a historic franchise, a very good team. Green Bay brings their own fans, and yet there was so many empty seats. Come on, Dolphin fans, you got to show up for the. I mean, you got a competitive team here in Miami. I mean, you got to show up for these games. There was so many empty seats, and I know there's a lot of things to do in South Florida, and a lot of people down there are not Dolphin fans. Come on. There's enough Dolphin fans to fill the building against Green Bay. They need that support. They need a home field advantage. Terrible job by the Dolphin fans not showing up yesterday. So Green Bay steals the win there. Let's go out to Oakland, where the San Diego Chargers beat the Oakland Raiders 31-28. San Diego up to 5-1. Oakland down to 0-5. Chargers rallied late. Oakland led a lot of this game. I thought Carr played very well for Oakland. He did have the big interception at the end of the game when he threw the bomb, and it was picked off to seal the deal for San Diego. But I did like what I saw from Carr yesterday. I like what I saw from Carr. Oakland really competed in this game. They played hard. San Diego, I was about to get on them. I was like, typical San Diego. Here they are. They're going to lose to Oakland, but they did pull the game out. San Diego in years past would have lost this game. So they did pull the game out. They were sloppy yesterday, but they did get the win. Wasn't their best performance of the season, though, but they do get the win. So San Diego gets the job done there. Let's go to Atlanta, where the Chicago Bears beat the Atlanta Falcons 27-13. Bears up to 3-3. Falcons down to 2-4. Let's start with Chicago. First of all, nice road win for Chicago. I thought Cutler played well, Forte played well, the receivers, Jeffrey and Marshall played well. I thought the defense was very good for Chicago. I mean, nice road win for the Bears. The Bears are an up-and-down team, too. You never know what you're getting from them week to week, but a nice road win here for the Bears. All right, as far as Atlanta, listen, I'm off the Atlanta bandwagon. I told you they were terrible on the road. Now they can't even win at home. They were bad on both sides of the ball yesterday. We know their defense is Swiss cheese. We know they're a soft team. Where was the offense yesterday? This was a Bear team that was giving up points left and right. I mean, where was the offense for Atlanta yesterday? 13 points in your building. Atlanta is in deep trouble. I don't see them doing anything major this year. They don't look like a playoff team to me at all. They look like a soft bunch of birds. I don't like Atlanta's team at all. Terrible loss at home yesterday for the Falcons. Nice job by the Bears. Let's go out to Seattle, where the Dallas Cowboys beat the Seattle Seahawks 30-23. Dallas up to 5-1. Seattle down to 3-2. What a performance by the Dallas Cowboys. I was telling you all last week this spread was way too high. Now, I didn't think Dallas was going to actually win this game. I thought it would be close, though. What a job by Dallas. They doubled the total yardage in this game. You know, I think Dallas had like 400 yards of total offense, and I think Seattle had like 200 yards of total offense. Remember, Seattle scored on a block punt. Dallas had a couple of miscues that led to other Seattle points. Dallas, you know, on both sides of the ball, pretty much dominated this game. I mean, Dallas looks like a very good team. You can make the case that Dallas right now could be the best team in the NFL. You could make that case. They've won 5 in a row. The offensive line is playing amazing. How about the running back? Again, he's over 100 yards. Romo looks healthy, making big play after big play to, on the outside there. I mean, what a job by Dallas. I mean, and what about the defense yesterday? The defense is starting to make some stops. I mean, Dallas's defense was horrendous last year. They couldn't stop anyone. Even the first game of the year against the 49ers, they looked atrocious. Dallas is really starting to put it together. What an amazing job by the Cowboys winning this game. And let me take you back to this point in the game too. 4 minutes left. Seattle is up 23-20 in this game. Dallas has a 3rd and 20. Romo escapes twice from a sack, and he throws a pass to the sidelines, and Williams just makes an unbelievable catch on the sidelines. That keeps the drive alive from there. Dallas stuffs it in the end zone, then they stuff Seattle, then they get an interception, they win the game. That play there, Romo to Williams, to me was the play of the game. If they don't make that play, they may lose the game. So what a tremendous catch by Williams. Great job by Romo doing the Houdini act. I mean, Romo made some nice plays to Bryant as well. I am so impressed with the Dallas Cowboys. I never saw this coming. I never thought they'd be this good, especially after last year. They were so bad on defense. Even the first game this year against the Niners, Dallas looks like a major contender. I mean, I know it's only 6 games into the season. This was a tremendous win for the Dallas Cowboys. And Seattle, hey, maybe Seattle's got a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. Very tough to repeat as Super Bowl champs. I mean, Seattle's finding that out. They're getting their best shot from everyone. Tremendous, tremendous win by the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go out to Arizona, where the Arizona Cardinals beat the Washington Redskins 30-20. Arizona up to 4-1. They are leading their division, by the way. Washington down to 1-5. They're finished. Palmer made a surprise return yesterday. I was looking for Carson Palmer last week. He sat out. Never thought he'd play this week. He played. The backup quarterback had a concussion. They were going to have to go with their third-string quarterback. Palmer plays. He plays well. Arizona has so many injuries, but they keep finding ways to win. Washington, 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter. This game was close. This game was on the table. Washington led for a good chunk of this game. 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter. I mean, it's hard to believe Washington was in the playoffs 2 years ago when you watch them. It's really hard to believe. I mean, I don't know who's going to be the quarterback for the future for Washington. Is it Cousins? Is it Griffin? They have all sorts of issues, the Redskins. They are an absolute mess. Their season is over. Arizona doing a great job despite the injuries. Good to see Carson Palmer back in the starting lineup. All right, let's go to the Sunday night game where the Philadelphia Eagles just bombed the New York Giants 27-0. Eagles up to 5-1. They are tied with Dallas for the division. Giants down to 3-3. This was all Philly all the time. I mean, they dominated in all aspects of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. The Giants' offensive line couldn't contend with the Eagles' pass rush. Eagles, as usual, score a bunch of points. They dominated on all sides of the ball. Giants, who looked really good the last 3 weeks, were moving the ball very well, did absolutely nothing in this game. They had one brief moment, the Giants, where they were down 20-0. I believe it was in the third quarter. They went for it on 4th down, deep in Eagle territory. They threw the pass to Cruz. The ball is right in his hands. He drops the ball. He grabs his knee. Serious injury for Cruz. Looks like he's going to be out for the year. That's a devastating loss for the Giants. I mean, that is an awful loss. That is terrible to see. Hated to see that injury. Cruz, a very popular player. Everyone likes him. You hate to see someone go down like that. And so the Giants are really going to miss him. Now, the Giants are pretty deep at receiver. They have some other receivers, but you can't replace Cruz. That's a huge loss. And the Giants looked absolutely dreadful last night. And I saw the Giants' schedule coming up. It is a murderer's row. I mean, they got about 5 games in a row against the elite in the National Football League. So the Giants, danger time for them again. I said this when they were 0-2. Well, danger time for them again at 3-3. Remember, they're already 2 games behind Dallas and Philadelphia. Now they've already lost to Philadelphia. You lose Cruz. Danger time again for the Giants. Eagles, hey, they look like a very, very solid team. Them and the Cowboys are going to be battling for that division. Nice job by the Eagles. They looked dominant last night. And as far as the Thursday night game, the Indianapolis Colts hung on and beat the Houston Texans 33-28. Indianapolis up to 4-2. They've won 4 in a row. Houston down to 3-3. I'll tell you, the Colts were up 24-0 after 1 quarter. You thought this game was a complete blowout. Houston rallies. Watt gets the big fumble return, makes it 33-28. Houston actually gets the ball back. Johnson makes a big catch over the middle. He's running like down to the Colt 30. He fumbles the ball. No one even touched him. The ball just came out. Colts recover. They hang on and win, so the Colts get the big win there. I mean, I think the Colts are a very solid team. I think they are going to win that division. Everyone loves Luck, and they actually are getting a pass rush now, which they were not getting. Remember, Mathis out for the year. They're starting to get a pass rush now. Houston, they're much improved this year, but I don't believe in Fitzpatrick. I think they need a better quarterback. All right, and tonight you have, of course, San Francisco, St. Louis in your big Monday Night Football game. And remember, Kansas City and New Orleans had the week off. So that was your NFL from over the weekend. As far as the college football, Mississippi State at home just laid it on Auburn, and Mississippi State goes to #1 in the country. The first team ever to be unranked at the start of the year and go to #1 like 5 weeks later. Mississippi State, and they are a deserving #1 team. They are big, they are physical, they are nasty. They play on both sides of the ball. They don't just play offense, they play some defense. They're one of the few teams that plays offense and defense very well. So I think they are a very deserving #1 team, and they just laid it on Auburn. Remember, they blew out Texas A&M last week. They've already beaten LSU. Mississippi State looks like a really good team. How about the Baylor-TCU game down in Waco? Baylor rallies, beats TCU 61-58. TCU is up 21 points in the fourth quarter. Baylor scores the last 24 points, kicks a game-winning field goal. Great come-from-behind win for Baylor. You must be sick if you're a TCU fan or one of their players or coaches. I mean, this is a game you had in the bag, and you let it slip away. I mean, what a wild game this was. So great job by Baylor coming back. I mean, terrible loss by TCU. They played really well, and they just let it slip away at the end. Ole Miss blasted Texas A&M at College Station 35-20. This game wasn't even that close, a complete blowout. And like Mississippi State, Ole Miss does some things on defense. They're very balanced. They can play offense and defense. They're #3 in the country. So Ole Miss, a very, very nice team. Remember, Ole Miss and Mississippi State play at the end of the year at Ole Miss. That's going to be some game. So Ole Miss wins there. Texas A&M, what happened to them? I mean, they started off the year so hot. They've fallen apart the last couple of weeks. Alabama hung on and beat Arkansas down in Fayetteville 14-13. Alabama had to have this win. If they lost this game, they were finished. They were not getting into the Final Four playoff. Now, this is not a vintage Alabama team, and I still think they may take another loss here in the regular season, but they escaped with the win. Arkansas missed an extra point. That came back to bite them. Arkansas is coming. They're going to get there. It's just not going to be this year. It'll probably be next year or the year after. They're starting to stockpile talent. They're getting close, but it's just not going to probably happen this year for them. Going to probably happen next year for Arkansas, but they are getting close. Alabama gets the much-needed win. Notre Dame hung on and beat North Carolina by 7. That sets up the big Notre Dame-Florida State game this week. Oklahoma beat Texas in the Red River Shootout, but didn't look impressive doing it. Oregon just routed UCLA. I was surprised about this. Oregon, the last couple of weeks, barely beat Washington State and lost to Arizona. I thought UCLA at home would do some things. I mean, this game at one point was 42-10 Oregon. UCLA, terrible job by them. Nice job by Oregon bouncing back. I picked on them a lot last week. I still don't believe in Oregon in a really big spot, but they do have a nice bounce-back win on the road here. UCLA, so disappointed in you. You lose to Utah at home last week, and then you lose to Oregon. Oregon, who's struggling on their offensive line, doesn't play well on the road, has a bad defense, and you're down 42-10 at one point in your building. Bad job by UCLA. USC hung on and beat Arizona 28-26. Arizona's little magic carpet ride runs out. Arizona missed a 2-pointer at the end of the game to tie. Then they actually get the ball back, and they miss a field goal to potentially win it. So Arizona's magic carpet ride ends right there. USC gets the win. Georgia bombed Missouri, actually shut them out. Despite not having Gurley in the lineup, Georgia looked very impressive. Missouri, not too great this year. I thought Missouri was going to be a little better than this. Missouri was a surprise team last year. They didn't play well at all here. I mean, they got drubbed at home. Mork looked terrible. So Georgia just stomped all over Missouri. Duke beat Georgia Tech, so Georgia Tech is not unbeaten anymore. And Marshall won, so they remain unbeaten. So that was kind of your college football. Like I said, the big game coming up this week is Notre Dame at Florida State. As far as your Major League Baseball, Kansas City is up 2-0 against the Baltimore Orioles. Back to Kansas City we go. Kansas City took both games in Baltimore, so Baltimore has an uphill climb. As far as the National League, St. Louis won last night to even up the series with San Francisco 1-1. San Francisco does have the home field, but the Cardinals desperately needed that win yesterday. They got it, had another walk-off home run. How many walk-off home runs and how many big home runs has St. Louis had in this postseason already? Every time I look up, someone's hitting a big home run, so they get the win there. So St. Louis evens the series 1-1. Like I said, the Giants do have home field now. And believe it or not, and I didn't touch on this last week, the NHL has started. Do you believe it? The NHL has started? Wasn't it just like 1 or 2 months ago the Kings won the Stanley Cup? We're already in the NHL season. Now listen, I love hockey more than anyone. The NHL season starts way too early and it just goes on forever. I mean, I can't believe the NHL season has started, and the NBA is not too far away either. The NBA is already in the preseason. And once again with the NBA, the theme is all these injuries again. Durant's out with a broken foot. I mean, the Beal's out for Washington. I mean, every year in the NBA, you see all these top stars getting hurt all the time. That's another season that's way too long. Okay, you guys are all caught up. You guys are all set. Of course, tonight you have Kansas City and Baltimore, Game 3 in Kansas City. We'll see if Baltimore can get back in the series. And you have that big Monday night football game, San Francisco at St. Louis. I want to see San Francisco take care of business tonight against the team they should beat. Tomorrow we will do our NFL picks. You know, Wednesday we'll touch on that Notre Dame, Florida State game, and we will go from there. You guys, thanks for the support. You guys enjoy the games tonight. Stay safe. Enjoy your holiday today. I will talk to you tomorrow, Tuesday. NFL picks coming up. Talk to you then. Take care.